Welcome to Papa's Workshop. Today I'm making a knitting and crocheting blocking board. And this is it. And basically it's a series of a whole bunch of holes. And I'm going to be using the array tool in the VCarve Pro to be able to do it. Now for all the people out there that love to knit and crochet, this is a must-have for the different projects. And I want to show you how I did it today, so let's get started. A day in the shop with Pawpaw in Pawpaw's Workshop. To support my channel, please go to patron.com, Pawpaw's Workshop. Today, we're building a crochet blocking board, and we're using the array tool in VCarve Pro. And please don't forget to subscribe. Open up a new file, and I'm going to make this 9 inches and 9 inches by the 3/4 of an inch thick. We're going to keep this in inches. We're going to go ahead and put this down at the bottom left hand corner, and we'll hit OK. Now what I'm looking for is an array of holes in this board that are a 1/2 inch space. So I'm going to use the array tool to be able to set that up. To use the array tool, I'm setting up my first hole down here at the bottom left hand corner. Now this is 0.5 on the X and the Y axis, and I want an even spaced number of holes all the way across, which means I need an array of holes that is 0.151 inches in diameter, and I need 17 of them along the X and the Y axis. To be able to accomplish that, I'm going to come right down here to the array tool. I know that the X and the Y of the selected object is the 0.151. I need the 17 rows on the Y axis and on the X axis. The gap that I actually want from the center is going to be a 1/2 inch. But if I look at the center, which is 0.5, and I subtract the radius of this, so I actually subtract the 0.151, which is the diameter of one hole, that's going to give me the space between the holes at 0.349. So now when I come down here and copy this, it gives me the array over the entire page exactly the way it needs to be. So let me zoom out here, and you can see that's exactly what I need. So that's just how easy it is to be able to set up all of the holes to be able to carve. Now from here, we'll go over and set up the tool paths. To move over to the tool paths, I'm just going to click right here on this tab, and that brings up this entire array. And now I'm going to use the profile toolpath. And the reason being, these holes are being cut at 0.151 inches in diameter. The bit that I'm using is actually a 0.125 or an 1/8 inch. So I'm going to select this. I want to be able to start this at the surface, and I want this to go down at 0.5 of an inch. We are going to be using the 1/8 inch. I want to select this, and I think everything looks fine over here. So I'm just going to go ahead and close it. Now this is going to be cutting on the inside, and I'm not doing an offset allowance. Everything else is going to look good. So let's just scroll down, and I'm going to calculate. So that's what it's going to look like to be able to preview this. That's how it's going to be able to carve all of the different holes. So let me go ahead and save this toolpath. Now I'm saving this at my crochet board holes, and I'm putting in the 0.125 because that is the size of the bit that I'm using. So I'm just going to go ahead and click the calculate. That's everything that's set. I am going to go ahead now and close this out, and we'll be able to save the toolpath. This is my 1/8 inch end mill. I only have the one toolpath. We're going to go ahead and save it. And this is where it's going to be saved, right over here. And I'll just click on save. Now let me go ahead and get my board cut, and we're going to get this set up on the CNC machine to be able to carve out. Now for this project, I'm going to be using this piece of red oak, and it is going to be cut down to 9 by 9. And this is a beautiful piece of wood with gorgeous grain. So I think this is going to work out really, really nice. So I have the stop block in place now, so all I need to be able to do is cut this to the length, rotate it, and be able to cut it again, and that'll give me a perfect square. Now I want this as accurate as I possibly can, and I know my table saw sled is very accurate as far as being square. Therefore I'm using this to be able to cut it. Otherwise I could have just simply set it up and used the fence on the table saw. But to me this is going to be a lot more accurate, and because there's so many holes and they had to be very precisely laid out, I want to be able to have this block cut as square as I possibly can. So that's the reason I'm cutting it this way. And this allows me to get a perfect 9 by 9 square to be able to use for this crochet board. Now you've seen me use a lot of different hold down methods, and today I decided to use my T-bolts to be able to hold down this project with my bump stops. I'm using the slots in the board to be able to hold this with my T-bolts, and I'm just putting in my wing nuts now to be able to clamp it down and hold it in place. And using 2 of these will be plenty to be able to secure this project board in position. In the videos, I like to be able to show a variety of different methods to be able to hold down the projects. Obviously, I could have used the glue and tape method, and that would have worked just fine. But it has been a while since I have used the T-slots and the T-bolts to be able to hold down a project. So I thought this would be an excellent project to be able to do that with. And you can see that this secures the project very well, and it'll hold it in place. Off camera, I set up the X, Y, and Z position all at 0. And now I'm actually ready to carve. So this is my file right here, and I'm loading that into the Universal G-Code Sender, or UGS, and I use this to be able to do the carving with this. Now I'd like to do the visualization, so I click on that, and we'll be able to see exactly what it's going to be able to carve. And to me, this is a good safety tip that I want to be able to show you, to be able to make sure that you've got the right file and that everything is going to do what you expect it to do. So now that I've verified that, I just close that window out, and now I'm ready to be able to turn on the router and be able to go ahead and carve this project. So as soon as I hit send, it goes ahead and begins cutting the different holes. And looking at this, you can see how it carves each of the holes, and it does this in a rotating fashion. One question you might have is, why did I not use the drill tool path? And the reason being is you would need to have a drill bit that would be the .151, and of course I don't have that. But this still does very well, and if you look at it, it's carving exactly what it needs to do. It's very clean and very precise. And this only takes roughly a little over 30 minutes to do this. And because this is red oak, I did not want to be able to get in a hurry with it and try to push the router any more than what I needed to. And you can see with this last hole, and this project is completed, this looks absolutely amazing. Now while this was carving, I went ahead and cut the pins, so I want to be able to test out the pins, and they fit in just a little snug, and that's what I want. Because over time, these holes will get a little bit looser with the constant use of this board. Now the last thing I want to be able to do is go ahead and put a 1/8 inch round over on the top of this, and that's just going to make it a little bit more pleasing to the eye. Now when you do this, even though it's oak, you still want to be able to do the end grain first. cut that first because that still helps prevent the tear out. Once you get that done on each of the end grains, then being able to cut along the grain of the wood is real easy. With this done now, I'm just going to go ahead and put a clear coat of the lacquer on it, and I'm going to call this project finished. Thank you for watching the video today. I hope you enjoyed me doing this knitting and crochet blocking board. It was a lot of fun, and I hope you learned how easy it is to be able to use the array tool in the VCarve Pro. It is a fantastic tool to make this type of project go very, very easily. Now, if you like the project today, please go ahead and hit the subscribe button and the little bell notification down there so that you won't miss out on any of the videos that I'm uploading. So until next time, I look forward to seeing each and every one of you in whatever project that I'm working on.